Welcome back to the show. Before the break, we had heard from Jerry Cortinez about his struggles with his injury. Now we have with us our expert for this week, a man who knows firsthand what it's like to lose a limb in the combat zone. He was an Army officer, an Army infantry officer, leading his troops in 2004 in Iraq when he lost his leg to an enemy RPG. He's now with the U.S. Army Warrior Transition Team, Mr. Lonnie Moore.
Hi, Jan. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Moore.
Oh, thanks for having me, and definitely thank you for sharing the story of our America's heroes and veterans that are coming home and having to learn their lives all over again.
Yeah, for sure. We think you have a great perspective to offer on this. Can you talk about emotionally what it's like to lose a limb?
Wow, that's a great question, and speaking for myself, I think I was in a little unique situation. I had a non-commissioned officer that had lost his leg a few months before I'd lost mine, and having the technology we have today, he was able to kind of email me and tell me about the process that he was going through. So when I was hit, I knew my life had changed forever, and I knew there was a void in my future. But having his experiences allowed me to know what my future was, the map of my future was going to look like. However, I didn't know what my military career might or might not look like, and I certainly didn't know what the rest of my life was going to look like, and that was a huge emotional scar at that time.
Can you talk about, you mentioned a process there. Can you talk about that process more in depth and how long it can take really for you to come to grips with this?
You know, everyone's different, and everybody handles their situations differently. Of course, we all go through the normal processes of grievance, you know, anger, acceptance, on and on and on. Amputee Coalition of America has a great model that they use. It's a little bit different. It's talking about a recovery process where you endure, you suffer, you reckon, you reconcile, you normalize, and you go back to thriving. But early on, you know, you don't know what your life is going to look like. You certainly don't know what living a life without a limb is like. You know, we're all healthy, active service members who are out there defending our country. And I went through many highs and many lows. But key in my recovery process was with peer mentoring, where certified peer mentors came in, Vietnam veterans, and they listened to us and they helped us and taught to us about what our recovery process was going to be like. And then 8 months after my injury, Disabled Sports USA took me up to the mountains, like similar to Jerry's experience, and it turned my life around. I realized through sport that I was able to conquer life again.
Can you talk about that experience, how you say you were able to conquer life again, kind of emotionally what you were going through, where you were before that, and then where this experience took you?
I'll be honest, I was in a pit of despair at that time. My life was a wreck. I had just lost a relationship. My fiance at the time broke up with me. Looking back many years later now, it was a great thing, but I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to stay in the military or get out. I was a very active person before, and I was really at the bottom. You know, there were highs at that time, but more often than not, there were lows. And to get up at the mountain, top of the mountain, and to ski down, really was conquering the mountain that was my life at the time. And it put the confidence and the skills in my mind that, you know, if I can do this, I can certainly move back into the civilian world and be productive. I still had the same heart and soul and mind that I did before I was injured.